Hey, so here's the deal. Joe Walsh, former Congressman Joe Walsh, back with you. I'm driving home last night. I get home from a speech last night, and I go online, and I look, and I find out that at DePaul University, right here in Chicago, right here in town, some guy comes to give a speech. Some speaker invited by the college Republicans invited to give a speech, and all hell breaks loose. And to top it off, the gentleman who was giving the speech, who was supposed to give the speech, is somebody who I'm a big old fan of, Milo. You know him. He writes for Breitbart. He's the technology editor at Breitbart.com, but he does really everything. You can follow him on Twitter at Nero. He's somebody I really like, and I'm excited to hear what kind of speech he was going to give, but he was never able to give the speech because all hell broke loose. Hey, Milo, thank you for joining me.
Hey, buddy, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
What in God's name happened? It seemed so innocent. I know you're on this college tour, but DePaul's DePaul. The college Republicans invited you. Well, what happened?
Well, I started giving a talk. I speak in, fairly uncompromising terms about feminism and Black Lives Matter and a few other things, the sacred cows of the progressive left. And they don't really have very much to say to me in the way of factual arguments, so they tend to scream and yell and shout and make a big fuss, try and shout me down. But something happened at DePaul that has never happened before. And, I'm doing a 66 college tour this year.
Right.
I've done a lot of these talks, and something happened that's never happened before. I had to end the event, really only 15 minutes into the event, because it was very clear that we could not proceed in any meaningful way. And you know what was scary about it? And I've never seen this before in my life.
So, Milo, about 15 minutes in, you ended the event. What caused that? What happened to cause you to just say, the hell with it, can't do this?
So these guys charge the stage, and I guess they're from Black Lives Matter.
Right.
And they charge the stage, start yelling. One of them grabs the microphone from the MC, from the interviewer, starts yelling into it, and the other guy starts pacing up and down the stage. So
wait, back up, my friend. Milo, you're telling me that people went onto the stage where you were giving a speech?
Oh yeah. They charge the stage, and it gets much worse than that. I'm about to tell you something that will shock you, really shock you. These guys charge the stage. There's the guy pacing up and down, and I try to crack a couple of jokes to keep the mood light, and he walks up to me and says, "Don't try me, I'll lay you out." Like he's going to hit me, like right up front. So what do? Well, I turn to the security that, by the way, I paid for, because DePaul sprung this massive, multi-thousand, it was like a $3,000 bill on the students with a tiny amount of time to go. It's kind of their slimy way of trying to get it canceled.
Right.
The students come to me and they say, "Oh God, what do we do? We can't afford this. They say you've got to have 15 security guards for this event." And I'm like, "Okay, look, I'll just pay it, because let's not cancel it. That's just dumb." So I'm looking at the security guards that I paid for, asking them to remove from the stage a man who just threatened to hit me. You know what they did? Nothing. They let this guy continue to pace up and down on stage, continue to posture and threaten people. The girl who'd stolen the mic was just dancing and bouncing around. And in the end, I just thought, you know what? I don't want to get hit in the face for trying to give a talk about feminism. And the audience who's come here, some people have driven for 4, 5, 6 miles.
Yeah.
6 hours rather, to come and see me. 550 of them are having the evening ruined for them. But I just couldn't continue. And what's so shocking, the really horrifying thing about this, is there was somebody from the Huffington Post on site who asked the police officers, not the security that we had to pay for, the college security, but police officers who were there too from Chicago PD. And they said they wanted to intervene and take this guy off stage and fix this problem. But the college authorities, DePaul authorities, told Chicago PD to stand down and stay out of it. In other words, the college authorities told the police to ignore physical threats that have been directly made to an invited guest on stage with an audience of 550 people in front there. Why? Who knows? Because the guy's black? Nobody knows. But I'm so shocked by this.
That the voice you hear, everybody, belongs to Milo Yiannopoulos. You know him. He writes for Breitbart, Breitbart.com. He's in the middle of a big old college tour, trying to go around to colleges, give talks, and present another viewpoint. You can follow Milo on Twitter at Nero. I love him. I love following everything this guy does and says. Milo, get back to this, though. The security people just stood there?
Oh yeah, they just stood there. This is security that I had paid for, not to protect people from me, to protect me from them.
Did they give you?
They're not there because some gay guy with the wrong opinions is threatening anybody's safety. I'm just trying to put on a nice show, you know.
Did they give you any reason, Milo? Did the security give you any reason why they stood down?
No, they did not. And then when I spoke to one of the college administrators outside, when they refused to allow me back in the building that I had been speaking in, I wanted to go back in and get my stuff. You know, my mobile phone was in the green room. I had my stuff out the back. They would not let me back in the building. And I said, okay, so you're perfectly fine with this guy threatening to hit me on stage, but I can't go back in the building I'm supposed to be speaking on stage at. He's like, no, I'm sorry. I'm worried for everyone's physical safety. I'm worried for your physical safety. I said, you weren't very worried about my physical safety. And somebody was on stage, squaring up to me. And I said, could somebody please get this guy off stage before he hits me? And nothing. This is what's happened with American college campuses. I was very shocked. You know, I'm a Brit, so I didn't know, I'm DePaul, big school, Catholic university.
Right.
I'm a Catholic. I thought, great, it's going to be like a calm, respectful, civilized, God-fearing kind of environment. I could not have been more wrong. That campus is clearly the product of faculty that has for, generation after generation after generation of students, year after year after year, emboldened students with the worst kind of entitlement, encouraging them to do and say whatever they want, provided they've got far left progressive politics, of course.
Well, and Milo, I don't know if you saw, Milo, but the college president, who I believe is in France, issued a statement, sort of, maybe kind of apologizing, but he took shots at you and your views.
Yeah, but he mischaracterized my views.
Absolutely.
He said, not actually mischaracterized even as too generous.
Yeah.
He just got it wrong. He said that I believe that being homosexual is entirely a matter of choice. I've never said that. I've never said that. I defy him to produce a single example on television or in any written column, in print, anywhere where I've ever said that. It's just not true. So he's setting me up as this villain, saying, well, he believes this, which is obviously rubbish, and he believes this, which is obviously rubbish. None of these things are true. And then, of course, he apologizes to the college Republicans, but he doesn't apologize to the invited guest of the university who was being threatened. And anyway.
Hey, Milo, so this is
no indication about I want my money back, dude.
Absolutely. So this is the first time this has ever happened to you on all the campuses you've been on, where students literally jumped up on stage, grabbed the mic, threatened you, and 15 minutes in, shut it down. That's the first time that's ever happened to you.
Well, there's been a lot of disruption in my school because the left they like to scream and yell and shut you down instead of listen to your arguments because, of course, they can't win on the facts. So there's been a lot of disruption before, but this is by far the worst disruption I've ever had. And the sort of complicity of the university is what made me realize I had to cancel the event. And that I've never done before. That is a first, And I've spoken at some very liberal schools. I've spoken at Bucknell, little liberal arts college in Pennsylvania. I've spoken at Rutgers, where protesters were smearing blood on their faces. I've spoken at American University, very liberal school. There were 150 protesters outside saying Milo wants us dead. Again, complete nonsense, of course. But at none of those schools did I feel the need to shut down the event because I thought it might spill over into something ugly, because security and the college administrators refused to do their job, but refused to do their job in one direction. They would have been very happy to police any of my audience. They would have been leapt down the throat of any of my audience if they'd stepped out of line. But because it was Black Lives Matter, they could get away with murder. It's
so you think
absolutely shocking.
That's fascinating, Milo. Milo Yiannopoulos, you know him, he writes for Breitbart, Breitbart.com. Follow him on Twitter at Nero. Milo, I appreciate you taking a minute here. Last question. Who, and I know because you're immersed in this issue, man, but to the point, who do you think's really to blame for all of this crap going on in these campuses?
Well, it's easy to blame the students.
Right.
It's easy to look at the students and say, look at these, these idiots, these, jumping up and down, crazy, ignorant lunatics.
Right.
And yeah, they do make spectacles of themselves, and that is funny. But I'm not angry at them. I find them funny. I laugh at them, and I make an example out of them sometimes because I would like them to snap out of it and grow up.
Right.
I'm not angry at them. I'm angry at the faculty. I'm angry at people who have been teaching for 20, 30, in some cases 30 years, these fact-free, evidence-free conspiracy theories about the patriarchy, conspiracy theories about white supremacy. At DePaul, they've got this one of the girl that was on stage that snatched the mic. Her major is in African and Black diaspora studies. This is the kind of degree where you graduate dumber than when you started because you are fed a cocktail of conspiracy theories and lies. This sort of distorted Afrocentric history, encouraging you to believe that all of your problems are the responsibility of people with a different skin color. There was a girl, at the bottom of the stage last night who said, "I've been oppressed for 200 years." I said, "Honey, you're looking great for you. You don't look that old." but this is what they're told. They're told all of their problems are the result of people, and that there's only one possible result of that, and that is discord, disharmony, ultimately racism. And the responsibility for that is not with the students. They don't arrive at college like this. People don't come out of the womb believing, in the wage gap, which is nonsense, or campus rape culture, which is nonsense, or the cis-het white male patriarchy, whatever nonsense you could read in the Guardian or New York Times or whatever. They don't arrive at college like this. Radicals are not born; they're made.
Exactly.
And they're being made by the faculty at on American college campuses. And I have to tell you, out of everywhere I have visited, I have never seen an example quite so stark and quite so killing as the DePaul University administration telling the police not to take someone off stage.
Oh my God!
But threaten to punch an invited speaker because what? Because he's a Black Lives Matter activist. Who cares?
DePaul,
but they won't do it because he's got the right politics.
DePaul University ought to be ashamed. Hey Milo, I love you, man. Keep fighting. Everybody, follow Milo and his fight on Twitter at Nero. Milo, thanks for joining us, man.
Thanks so much for having me, and thank you for the kind words.
You got it.